Can I mention Allie? I don't know how to not talk about this introduction without mentioning Allie. I mean, we had weekly meetings to figure out what we were trying to accomplish. She was sharing industry expectations and standards to make sure that we knew what we were getting ourselves into. So we knew most organizations might say, oh, we want 50% adoption in the first week. We knew we had to come out strong. So we set a 75% adoption for the first week because we knew we needed to get that momentum. We actually got to 80% in the first week.
So my role was to partner with the team as their implementation specialist and main point of contact at Trainual. So I really worked with them on the day-to-day. I helped them get up to speed on Trainual. I helped them learn how to document and put all of their playbook and their processes into Trainual. Player 15 being the umbrella of 4 companies, you have one sports team like the Phoenix Suns, times that by 4 for scale. So it's a very large organization operating under one main umbrella. So for example, you have the sales team, but you have partnerships under there, you have premium sales team, you have business development, you have inside sales. So you have all of these layers that help run the organization, but it's such a large organization, there's so many different departments and teams and roles that are so specific to them. When we got there, the question was, where do employees go for documentation to stay up to speed and up to date? Some departments like traffic and security had things documented because those are important processes that need to be followed specifically, but other departments had things stored on shared drives or in a dark hole or on someone's computer that wasn't accessible to everyone. So they were really missing a centralized hub for training that everyone could access, and they were missing kind of that go-to that everyone knew, hey, go here for training, which is where Trainual came in.
We had departments that needed a kickstart, were stretched on time to be able to get things submitted. The implementation team immediately said, hey, why don't you allow us to help migrate? Give us the top 3 areas or topics in your department that we could create some training framework around, and we can help kickstart the process. So without that assistance, it would have slowed us down, but thankfully we were all on the same goal and trying to drive towards the same timeline.
We kind of took a higher level view of like, what if someone started at Player 15 tomorrow? What are the most important things you want them to learn at an organizational wide level? We didn't want to dive into like, what is your sales process? We wanted to start high. So we did culture and values. So what are those things that Player 15 employees live by every single day? And then we did kind of like a welcome to Player 15. Who are we? What's our history? So we focused on those pieces of content because not only are they important for everyone in the organization, but once we rolled out, we wanted to start with something high level and then drill down into the departments later on. It took about 3 months for subjects to get documented. There were 127 subjects created in that time, along with 101 groups within the organization.
One of our first rollouts was around principles, and do people understand the principles? And so you walk around here and people are repeating them, they're reciting them, and we know that the 100% completion rate of people having to go through and match things to our principles and our values, for sure there was a correlation between what they did in Trainual to what they know and understand about our principles today.
I think I was just generally impressed with the adoption, the excitement of people who actually got in and used the tool. You know, when you're introducing something like values and principles in the business, you don't always expect excitement in return for people learning about those, but the high fives and the excitement when a whole team would complete the initiative and beat another team, and the awards for who was recognized that day for completing, I was more drawn to the story and just kind of the energy in the building when we introduced it. We were surprised and excited about the whole process.
3 weeks after Trainual was launched at Player 15, the organization was at 100% completion for 97% of their employees. It was really cool to see how excited everyone was to be around a tech platform, because most of the time when a new tech stack is introduced to an organization, people aren't excited about it. But Trainual was like a buzzword at Player 15. Everyone was excited. There was almost a sense of FOMO when other leaders wanted to get on Trainual before we launched. There was almost this like competitive edge between departments because the goal was to get to 100% completion, and departments started competing to see who was the first department to get to 100%. So there became that kind of buzz around the office of like, hey, are we at 100%? If not, I'm gonna go tap my coworker to make sure they get there.
Trainual just creates a centralized approach, and it allows the leaders in those departments to come up with the systems and processes that are most efficient in their department. And then when you talk about scale, allow to scale to different team members. And then if there are people in other departments that are curious or interested or in any cross-collaboration product, they can find out. So the simple nature of creating a hub just provides accessibility to a larger population of people. And then it allows you to kind of engage and find different ways to make people care.
For us, the 98% of the people who have been in the system, they've completed it. And completing the content is obviously an important part of what we would connect to the success of the program.
So now that Trainual's in their hands, they're equipped, they know how to document, they know how to navigate the platform. I'm excited to see where they'll be in the next year or two with how much documentation will be on there. How people are leveling up their own careers by utilizing Trainual to learn new responsibilities or delegate other ones to other departments. It'll be really cool to see how much they grow and scale with Trainual as their own organization grows and scales.